They touch me, it's consequences that come with that.
I call you next. Hey, Lee, they try to steal our shit.
I feel like a lot of people took away the negative from that.
That people out here lying is trademark, and I own the trademarks, and it's public record.
Like, ain't nobody gotta lie about, bro.
Pull up with 20 niggas with ski masks.
Like, super hating. Like,
Ain't nobody trying to hear you, not no street nigga.
But she ain't never paid for not one of my
I'm not finna die for this shit.
I'm trying to get out.
They died the first thing they say
For this shit.
man, he had potential
I
to
ain't never
grow up.
touched none of y'all. I ain't never did. I don't owe y'all niggas shit. I don't owe y'all niggas shit.
She said, I killed a boy. I'm going to prison.
You can out-internet me, but you can't out-business me and out-grind me.
We are here on another episode of Address It. This is the Your Vote, Our Future edition. We're looking to bring voter awareness. We're looking to inform the common person on who's on your ballot, how, what, where, when. We're looking to play our role in, transforming our community, particularly the North Side community as of now. But today I am here with Brother Phillip Peterson.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today?
Yep. And how are you, sir? How are you?
Oh man, I can't complain. I'm alive. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to even come and speak. I want to thank you again, Malik, for reaching out to me. And man, I'm doing good, man. This is like outside of regular things, but that's life.
No problem.
Having a good time.
For sure. Phillip Peterson, but I know you got a couple other names. I've seen OMAC and all that. Well, just tell us who is Phillip Peterson?
Yeah, man, I got a couple names. I'm known as Phillip Peterson, Phil OMAC, Dr. Phil OMAC. Some people over the North Side know me as a sword guy. Some other crazy things. No, man, Phillip is I'm a 46-year-old African-American male. Obviously, I'm from D.C., been out here for about 10 years. Lived on the North Side for the last 5.5, going on 6. Part-time worker. Right now, I've been doing landscaping with my buddy's business just to, stay in shape, but haven't been able to get the hours I want at my other job, so I've been kind of falling back off that and focusing on doing some work and getting out here and doing as much door knocking as I can, passing out flyers. I'm running the campaign on my own, so I'm just trying to do my best.
Yeah, so running for a city council position. From your perspective, what is the role and responsibility of a city council member? Oh
man, the role of a city councilman is I want to say is like a protector. So my job, I would figure it is to make sure that the neighborhoods, the blocks, communities, that I would be under management to make sure that everything is running right, that people are, the streets are being clean, that the police are doing what they're supposed to do, that business, that threw me off. So that city works and things are getting done like that. Things are getting done with the schools, getting businesses to want to come and invest, getting people to want to come and live in the neighborhoods, but particularly making sure that the city is safe and functions and runs like a well-oiled machine. That's what I would think. I would hope so.
What's your background, though? We want to get to know a little bit about you.
Well, my background, I've been a regular worker. Been a server, professional restaurant server for like 10, 15 years, also in customer service. Been a manager for GameStop, but that doesn't come with, I also made my mistakes. I have been down before. It's not something that I don't revel in it, but I revel in what came out of it. What came out of it was the responsibility and the will and the determination to want to do something, because mistakes are just that, mistakes. You make a mistake in your life, and the object is for you to learn from the mistake and forge forward to progress and do things in a different manner.
When you say down, what do you mean by down?
Oh, I've been to prison.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What was that like? What?
Well, it was a learning experience. Then to be completely honest, it was here when I first came to this state. I moved here from a previous marriage. Wasn't very well. I wanted to start my life over, but in the midst of doing that, I found myself intoxicated one night at the Red Dragon, and kind of heard a friend of mine made some threats to people, which, They don't play that out here. And I was still in a little bit of a knucklehead phase. I didn't want to do anything anybody says, which required me to have to go down to Stillwater for 8 months. And it was the best 8 months of my life.
That's what I was gonna ask. It was 8 months total? Okay. How long ago was that?
That'd have been like, it's going on 7 years now, 8 years.
So, I mean, when did you decide, what was the moment that you was like, I'm gonna run? You know, a lot of people have an initial moment, you know, where they had enough or whatever was the motivator, but what was that for you?
When O'Reilly Auto Parts started blowing up, I lived on Irvin at the time. And at the time, my partner couldn't sleep. She was definitely afraid. After the George Floyd riots and things of that nature, and things started burning, and then police started disappearing, and then strange people started showing up in the neighborhood and stuff, I didn't see any leadership. And that's not like I'm not a big outside person. I'm usually indoors. I'm reading books or watching documentaries, or I'm a nerd playing with Transformers or PlayStation or something like that. But I was just seeing things just falling down, businesses leaving. So I figured, I'm like, man, I have ideas. I looked up what it meant to be a city councilman. I was like, I think I have all of those qualities. And I would say being either a part of a small board or community politics is the start of how people start their political careers. So I'm like, you know, to have the
turning off display button 1 of 8.
Okay, having the ability to make a real change in the community, having the ability to have a say and get people to want to come in the community, invest, or come in the community or live, come in fellowship. I mean, yeah. I could do that.
But button 1 of 8. Powering off.
No, I'm fine. I'm good. Your background though, where were you born and raised?
I'm from Washington, D.C. Born at Georgetown University Hospital from Alexandria, Virginia.
So when did you end up coming up here?
I came to Minnesota in about 2013.
Yeah. See, a lot of people feel like Minneapolis is a place where a lot of people try to come in and get in, especially in these different seats. A lot of people feel like, I don't know, I've seen some people say people try to come take advantage of Minneapolis, you know. What's your thoughts if trying to become a political person in this ward and this why here, why now, you know?
The enrichment of oneself through politics, I think, is dirty, to be completely honest. Like, even when I was thinking about it before, Crystal Porter was running, and she's like, Phillip, you'd actually be good as Parks and Rec. And I was like, maybe. My thing is, I'm not trying to enrich myself by being put into any kind of political situation. I would do the job for half or whatever it is. I'm not here to take advantage of people. When I know that when you move, especially if you're coming from a bad situation, you just want to make things better. Even in my youth, coming from the East Coast, coming from D.C., it's a real, like Virginia, D.C. is really political. It's not something that I wanted to dab my feet in, but seeing how the wheels of power work with politics, that politics controls or dictates how everything is run. Your traffic laws, your school mandates, the helping and assistance, things that I've had to not taken advantage of, but I have had the ability to utilize. When I came here, I didn't have a job. I was able to get public assistance. When things got bad with COVID and nobody's working, instead of getting put out, I was able to apply for rental assistance and get our rent paid up. So Minnesota having the ability and having the capacities to and help people, I just want to help people more or bring my ideas and plans to make things better. It's my goals and my aspirations for this position are to make Minneapolis, specifically the North Side, the place people want to live, and that's it. Like, I don't want to. If anything, I want to be taken advantage of by whoever be my constituents. Like, hey, Phillip, we need this. Hey, Phillip, I want to be of complete service. That's my mindset towards it.
I mean, you're up for a seat where it's been occupied for 5-6 years by the current city council member,
Jeremiah.
You mentioned that you were running the election this on your own.
I'm doing this alone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess why alone, and what chances do you have? Do you think you have of removing him from that seat potentially?
Why alone? I didn't go out seeking anybody's endorsements really. Again, like I look at politics a little bit different than most people might look at it. A lot of people think that there shouldn't be no money in politics. I'm kind of one of them. Like, money can dictate things. It provides sway. It's, wash my back, I'll wash yours. And that's all fine and good, but I don't want to have to be in anybody's pocket to want to push this agenda forward rather than the agenda that the people have set forward. And in the beginning, I didn't think I would have much of a chance. I really don't know what my chances are right now, again, because I'm running alone. But an opponent asked me to drop out. Victor Martinez asked me to drop out twice. Then his brother asked me to drop out and come work for them and take out Jeremiah, which I felt was underhanded. I don't like, I can understand people disagreeing, but the goal is to make the area, the ward better, not to be or try to gang up on someone to try to take them out. I want to run it fair. I want people to be able to see, people should be able to see you, see me, see him. We should be able to talk to them and then let people make their decision, not make a decision on a kind of an executive thing while you're sitting, hey, Phillip, I like your ideas. Come work for me. Let's get rid of this guy.
What was the basis that he said that on, though?
I can't really say, because he said, well, you got into this thing late. I really didn't get into it late. I got into it when in the appropriate amount of time. I had to make the decision within myself. And I think my stature in the community is different from theirs. I guess I would be considered more grassroots. I get around a lot and I meet a lot of people. And I'm not saying that makes me better or worse, but I think I have a fair shot as winning as either the two of them. One, a lot of people are not happy with Jeremiah. Like you said, for 6 years, over the last 6 years, the North Side has turned into, it's almost a food desert. You got to go, if you're going to go to the Cub, fine, but you can't go to the Aldi. You're going to have to go all the way up to Robertsdale, either go to the Hy-Vee, or you're going to have to go all the way down to Golden Valley to go to the Lunds. The Family Dollar's gone. That Burger King's been dead for years. It's like he's done nothing to interject any type of life and vitality to the North Side outside of side projects with people that not everybody knows. So, I mean, even the co-op, it's gone. There was a food co-op, it's gone. It was there for 8 months. And this was in the beginning of this gentleman's term. So when people are fed up, and I'm not saying I'm just you just pick anything, you're gonna pick the most logical choice. Sometimes I like to believe that I might probably be that most logical choice. I'm not saying I'm more learned than any of these individuals, but I think my passion is probably greater in the way that I think is going to be more dynamic than either one of my two opponents.
But I mean, since you coming from another, born and raised in another state for most of your life, do you think that would cause any barriers here? I
can't see why not. Not everybody, while people are from Minnesota, everybody in Minnesota is a transplant. Everyone from Minnesota came from different states. I done seen people here that look like my family.
But some people believe that's the problem, though, with what's going on right now.
Well, a lot of the problem with those transplants is how they're being handled. A lot of the transplants are coming from Chicago, and in most senses, when they're coming over here to the north side or from Michigan, a lot of times we was dealing with that same type of situation in I want to say in D.C. when they started to gentrify Southeast. They moved a lot of people to Maryland, which started a lot of conflicts, a lot of gang fights and stuff like that. I'm not associated with gangs. I'm just a regular, normal human being. I want to say my ideals and my beliefs and my goals are pure, and I want to just, I want to work for y'all, work for you. How can I say this? I've been here for 10 years now. I'm a Minnesota native. I've been on the north side for half a decade. I think that should qualify me enough to want to improve where I've lived and where I intend to continue living. One's goal is to get out of their house and go build somewhere else. I'm not at home in Virginia. My home is Minnesota, and I'm looking to build my home here.
One of the issues that, one of our biggest issues or biggest controversies is around the police department, Minneapolis Police Department. Just what's your thoughts on the police department and
they're failing? I
guess the funding and defunding controversies.
Yeah, like God, I don't want to rub someone the wrong way. I don't like shenanigans. I don't take a lot of BS. Defunding the police don't even make sense. To even say that is kind of, you need to take a step back. What you want to do is, I want to reallocate funds. Yeah. I want to accept these government funds. Yeah. And what do I want to do with them? The police force is down. Like, let me see, out of probably like 800 cops, there's like 3. So it's reduced past half. This funding can start new training modules, since it's a federal fact that Minneapolis police discriminate, and they have things they need to do to fall into compliance. Compliance would be new training. Compliance for me will also be a new style of officer that's not going to come in here ready to shoot you up. Rather that this officer comes dressed a little bit less tame, more likely wearing a non-lethal weapon with the ability to call in lethal force, but their job is de-escalation. And then probably more likely an officer that's riding with them that specifically handles mental health stuff. Because a lot of this stuff is not so much that it's a mental health issue, but there's a lot of, they don't require guns. They require people to be talked to calmly and de-escalated, so that we don't keep having these outside issues. And the police need to start living over North Side. I understand the necessity for a work-life balance, and then I also know what it means to want to be protected, or feel safe. But subsequent of that, you sworn an oath like a soldier. A soldier don't sit here and say, "Oh man, I swore this oath. Don't send me to Afghanistan." They get sent with their orders. Tell them. So we need to get back to officers, at least where I'm from, they had a lot of community officers, so you don't become a stranger. So when you know who this person is and how they are, you're able to deal with them in a more humane and intelligent way. I know that if we had real community policing, and if they respect the people they're policing and not look at them as they're a threat to their life and their livelihood, then things would be a lot better. A lot.
I agree, but how do you plan to do that? That's such a tall order. How do you plan to implement that type of stuff?
Well, I'm glad that you asked me that. Again, we're talking about police funding. Now we're already down with so many police. To incentivize police to want to come and live over the north side, possibly raising their salaries for people that live here by a certain percentage point, and helping them acquire low cost or pretty much free housing. That way, They're not worried, the mortgage is, so now we reduce your mortgage and we've increased your pay. And now your job will be to beat feet, put some good shoes on, go out and be out in the community and talking to people. The only way for that to happen, really, is for all of us to sit down with the police union and kind of make that a staple. Like, we can't have, Eagan police live in Eagan. Bloomington police live in Bloomington. Majority, vast majority. Of course, people live in the outskirts, but the majority of the force is going to live where they work. So if you're not willing to live over North Side, that's wrong. It's you want to treat everyone as a combatant. So the culture has to change, and for the culture to change, the training has to change. And while we don't have that many officers, we can start doing that, because a lot of these dudes also want to still retire. So we can bring in we can train up brand new people, brand new officers from the community that want to do the community right and not come out like a combatant.
But I mean, the police department has gotten such a bad rep, bad taste in people's mouths. How do you get these people to even want to be officers? As you can see, you said it's more than halfly reduced at this point. How do you get people from my neighborhood that's experienced so much trauma, maybe their family members experience so much trauma, to want to come throw on a uniform and serve as police officers?
I want to say there's probably an innate want and an innate need to want to protect one's family, one's neighborhood. Not everybody out there that's doing wrong has a criminal record. There are so many families that were made from positive families where the dad or whatever, or the mom was a knucklehead and getting it and doing all types of stuff. And then they go to the Army and they come back and they're a whole different person. And I'm not saying sending anybody to the Army or like that. There are people in these neighborhoods right now who doing whatever, but at the same time may probably have a sense of justice, may have a sense of like wanting to do well. I'm only doing this because when you only have, if my two options are this and this, but it should be like 7, but I have these 2 options. I'm gonna do the option that makes the most sense or can make the most money or whatever. Subsequent of my health, my safety is why, people sell drugs. We steal stuff. Because it's a desperation thing. It's not like I need to do this or like I really want it. Yeah, some people want to, but most people don't want to be put in that position, and they're only doing it because they have to. I have to do this, or this will not happen, or I have to go here, or so when we start eliminating the have to, recruiting in the community, what would more than likely would be difficult is not impossible. Difficulty doesn't mean that it's hard. That's, it's difficult to become a professional basketball player. It's difficult to become a pro football player. Dude, it's difficult to play Dragon Ball Fighter Z and win. But if you practice and you dedicate yourself and you dig in, yeah, you can start, Kamehameha news. I want to Kamehameha this issue. In nerd speak, my bad.
So you mean, if I understand you, so to make it more appealing, you give them more benefits, right? You give them more benefits. But I guess just changing the taste out of people's mouths, because I know a lot of people that won't work for the police. I know they'll be like, I'm not interested, no matter what amount. Well, I ain't gonna say no matter what amount, but
then a lot ain't all.
Yeah.
A lot ain't all. If you got 100, a lot would be 70. You still got 30 people that might, and out of those 30, 15. Out of those 15 might be 5. And those 5 might be the ones you need, or the 1. We can't look at the obstacle and find it to be insurmountable just because it's difficult. I wouldn't be sitting up here if I know this is difficult, but I know that it's not an impossibility for me to do this at all. I just have to want to do it. Like, okay, so like I said, I work in landscaping. And we go to some real the houses aren't raggedy, but the landscaping is atrocious, and you know that's the appeal of your house. I'm talking about. I've been to some spots, and you'd be like, I ain't going up in there. In a day, 2 days, it's completely different because we put in work, we put in effort. Sometimes it's some blood, it's a lot of sweat, but at the end, it's beautified. If we don't dig deep, if we don't dig down and do this hard thing, it's only gonna get worse. I would imagine.
So you mentioned that you spent some time in prison. One of the things I wanted to ask about before I even knew about that, but you know, what's your thoughts on like more opportunities, more real opportunities for felons? You know, the ones that came home and done things the right way.
You asking me all the right questions. I like that. So the object of penal punishment is just that, punishment. You know, got in trouble when you was a kid. Yeah, what you doing? Punishment. Let me get this. Let me get that. 3 weeks. No, nothing. So we've already punished. Brothers got time. They got a label on their head, which you don't really make who they are, but it's a label that they have. Want to get down here to these prisons. A lot of these brothers in prison, well, not a lot, a majority are working, but some aren't. A more majority aren't working than there are that are working. So the object is to speak with the prisons, especially the state-run prisons, start getting real jobs programs. Looking through these companies that manufacture and or produce goods outside of what MenCorps does, and get them to want to employ these individuals. The brothers who are locked, you know, who have their certifications, like MIG and TIG welder, fabricator, and things like that, they're not getting these type of certifications when they leave.
Yeah, sometimes they say they don't even respect it.
So now we need to go in and make sure that that is a national certification so that these brothers who are having to come out and be out here on ISR and all this other BS and having to be bogged down by not being able to get a job, not having their skills recognized, so that while they're in there, because I have a prison program that I would love to shoot out, because it involves companies not so much investing in prisons, but making their presence known in prisons, grocery stores, food places, so that one, these prisoners can stop buying money. I mean, not buying money. Stop buying their stuff from MenCorps, and then MenCorps sending them home broke. Because if I pay you, but then you have to pay me for food, you're working for me for free. And then the taxes and the levies that they send them, when you send people money, oh, I'm gonna send you $100, but you're only gonna get 70. Or you might only get 50 because the state got to get their cut too. That needs to stop. I'm pretty sure that could be stopped at the local level, or there could be programs initiated so that when people come to the north side, at least when they get out, hey, this company is recognizing your MIG and TIG welder, so you can go out here and get this $80 and $90 an hour, so that you don't have to live hand to mouth and worrying about going back to prison. But it needs to start in the prison. We need to switch how it's done so that when the brothers come out, that they have, especially if you have a job, stop paying these dudes these pennies. If the job is a $20 an hour job, dude, just pay them half and take the other half and put that into prison or something. But make sure when they leave, that they leave with enough money to get a house or at least put a down payment on something. So they don't have to, I don't have to go here. I got 20 racks over here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this townhouse and get a car and go to work. So to answer your question, I would be hard pressed to get and make any type of program that would get these brothers and sisters back on their feet and then equitable. Because that's our problem, not having the equity, not being able to buy where we are or having the funds to do what we need to do.
Just touch on all the, the biggest issues. Rent control is another one. Mm-hmm. What's your perspective on rent control, rent stabilization?
The rent control, rent stabilization. I'm not a big real estate person. So again, this was something new to me. But I understand if you want to control the rent, then the rent has to be controlled to reflect income. Maybe rent control need to go by almost, I'm not saying like a Section 8 type of thing, but it may need to have to go off of your income, or it should really be off the original rent. If you move into a place and the rent is $1,000, and in a year they want to raise it to $1,200, because in most cases they want to raise it by 100, 200, 250, between 100, between 50, 150, $200 they want to raise the rent. But you're not getting paid more. In fact, you've lost hours because hour shorts and stuff. So the rent control needs to be based off of some real intelligence. The current minimum wage, what is that? The amount that it can go up in any given year. So I would be, if I wanted to do rent control, every 3 years, it should go up 1% on the original rent, and any type of other increases have to be based off of how much money the medium home income is making. If I'm making $18 an hour, but you want to raise my rent $200, I can't live there anymore. I need to now make $22 an hour or $25 an hour. So we need to change the minimum wage and make it real, and then start talking about jacking up rent. Until then, rent needs to stay what it is, and it needs to nominally go up probably maybe 2 to 3 years based on the factor, like how much money are people making, not how much money a landlord can acquire. And that would also go into property taxes and stuff. The city would have to work with that too.
You know, like always, sadly to say, like always, but public safety is a huge issue.
Yeah.
I know you talked about a little bit about the police officers, but just what do you see? Any ideas that you can bring in that can help with public safety, people feeling safe, walking outside, you know, kids playing outside, all that sort of stuff in our communities?
North Side in particular, we got to go down and it's going to sound like a cliche, but really it's about talking to the people that talk to these other people. Kind of talk like a lot of it's going to be, I won't say gang violence, but it's going to be group violence. There's always there's a head to every snake, even if the snake got 7 heads. So it's about not forcefully trying to find out who these people are, but like going to be like, hey, let's sit down and talk. And then ain't nobody gonna want to hear it at first. But you got to be consistent. I look at it like this. Most of the dudes that got problems with each other is probably family in some shape, form, or fashion. All come from the same thing, all look the same. But I have to think about even us being in this space right here. When we went to, and this is, sometimes I go around the world to get to a point. I'm gonna make it real quick. World War II was fought over in Japan. We ain't gonna be talking about German stuff because we drink beer, we drive Volkswagens and all that. But we bombed Japan. We nuked them. And now they make PlayStations for everybody. Now, I'm not saying they punks, because their warriors would kill themselves with a sword if they felt dishonored. If they felt they dishonored their family, they killed themselves and have their homeboy cut their head off because their honor is so high. I mean to say this is, until we go down here and talk to these honorable, a lot of these brothers warriors, man, coming from, I can't even imagine, because it's not like that on the East Coast. Until we go down there and talk to them on their terms, and then get them to really understand that, no, you can make a difference, and you don't have to be the way it was. It could be a whole, totally new thing. But all this is in education. All this is speaking with the right individuals, because you can't, because I'm going to get your goofy ass out of here. I'm going to get that, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. When you have only seen shit, you expect shit. When you get sunshine, it's a whole new thing. So, you got to get brothers used to, like, it's not how it was when, it's not like it's different now. So that means community interaction, getting down and getting them to want, if you got pride on your block where you doing something, let's make the block look nice then. Show me you really have pride, because if you don't, everything you else is saying is BS. So if you really about it, you want your area where you are to look nice, even if you down. Brothers that's really on it, you go in their joint, it's clean. Take your stuff off. It's clean in there. When people don't care, you can tell. So it's finding out the people that don't care, getting the people that know them, that do care, and working with them. Because there's always there's somebody got a big brother figure or a big mama figure that could talk some sense to them. And it's about getting down to that. So that's community, just being, I want to be in the community. I'm not trying to be in the office. So like, people see me, if elected, y'all see me a lot, more than you want. Because my job is to make things better.
A lot of people in the community feel that we don't know about things until they're already in place. We don't know. So, it's a lot of things that just happening right in our spaces that we are unaware of. What would you do to change that?
Well, if elected, I know there's a lot of public stations like here, Minnesota Speaks. So I want people in the community. Hey, if I say, hey, hit me up, text me, email me, I want everybody to sit down. Even we got to go get a big coliseum, and then everybody sit down and be like, hey, this is the stuff we need to do. But it's about everybody getting on this same wavelength and not just. I lost myself with that. What was the last part of that question?
People feel like we're not informed until it's too late.
And I want any idea, any program that I want to put forward first to the people. So if that's saying, hey, I'm gonna be down in North Commons Park for the next week, or I'm gonna be going past the parks for 2 days a week, and we have these projects, let us know what you think. Getting an email blast out, or getting a little letter blast out, hosting a little hey, these are the plans. What do y'all think? Not like the stuff that they did at North Commons Park was right and it was wrong. They put the little sign up to say we want to switch it up, but then they turned it to some private thing that I don't even know who's designing it. Because who should have probably been designing or had an input should have been the people that live across the street and across the street and up the street, the people that actually use it, not the people that's looking to profit off of anything that happens with the park.
You talked about the food desert a little bit. That's another issue. People are worried about, food, grocery stores within their radius. What would you do to address that?
Man, I've been doing a lot of research on this. Recently found out there's a grocery bus that goes to a couple of there's only 2 of them. There's only 2 of these grocery buses. Some of y'all may have them. They come to a couple apartment buildings. They do it in St. Paul. I want to give them funding to increase that. That's just a caveat. Right now, I'm beating feet. I just was down at the Wedge today. Spoke with their CEO. I want to build I know there was a co-op before, but it wasn't a co-op. I don't know what it was. It closed in 8 months. I want to build a North Minneapolis community co-op grocery store, 1 and/or 2, and talk to. Well, I used to work with Lunds. Lunds is not doing any expanding, and Cub might be in financial strife, but I would want to be talking to people at Kowalski's, talking to the people at Solo, and maybe even some out-of-state entities who have distribution centers out here or who might be looking to expand. And then maybe a farmer, maybe a group of farmers want to make a farmer's market grocery store, or maybe there's a couple, maybe there's some business owners or some well-off people over north and say, hey man, we want to do this. Yeah, I would want to. I'm taking in all ideas, but I want to not say I want to promise this in my first. No, this is not even a promise. This is a necessity. The necessity is there will be new food options, and not just one. And then also speaking with the owners of the stores and stuff over here in North Minneapolis to maybe help or incentivize them to switch in some of the food options that they're providing. Like, look, man, I'm from Alexandria, Virginia, from DC, from New Projects, the Birds. I know about the corner store, but sometimes, you know, New York's corner stores are bodegas where you get a sandwich, you might be able to do your grocery store shopping. So like, the stores right now are selling junk food. I want to help them sell good food. And if they want to sell junk food too, do that too. But like the North Star, they deli's been closed for 7 years. I would love to see that joint come back over here on Broadway. I go right there. Those are my guys. I protected that spot with a sword, unfortunately. But like, and then Popeye's not letting people sit down, McDonald's not letting people sit down, not giving jobs. It's just the Olympic didn't get rebuilt, nor did, I don't even know if the city gave these people money for what happened. So like, my thing is about doing intelligent stuff, I've been talking with some food truck vendors, a couple guys that provide local food, man. Like, look, maybe we can get y'all in some of these spots too, because they're empty. And like, I know the city has some kind of sway with somebody. We'll get you some low rent or something.
Appreciate you. We want to give everybody, all the constituents, chances to come. You know, we can learn from them and, you know, learn you guys' platforms. And so I appreciate you coming to sit down.
Thank you.
If you would like to have any closing remarks, or let us something know that we need to know before you go.
Well, again, my name's Phillip Peterson. I might not be a Minnesota native. I'm from the East Coast. I've been here for 10 years. I've had my share of troubles and issues. We got troubles and issues over north. I believe I've been able to overcome a majority of my troubles and issues, or I would not be sitting here today speaking with you, asking for your vote. But you must make the ultimate decision. You must choose like the best candidate. I would like it to be me, but it might not be. But I want to thank you for, again, allowing me to speak here and speak to you guys specifically. And like, I want to serve you guys purely. And I want to not just make Northside safe and just, you know, where people can just hang out. I want to make it to people are like clamoring, like, yo, let's go over here. So I want to make the outlook golden for North Minneapolis. And then like, that'll just make Minneapolis itself just better.
Appreciate you. Likewise, likewise. You heard it here on Address It, Phillip Peterson.
I think the law enforcement have to be mindful that they're not accidentally killing and hitting pedestrians and they're pushing somebody else, right? That doesn't create safety. And so I think the point is that we've got to make everything safer, right? That person who's speeding and who's fleeing from the police, sure, they're at fault, right? But we have a responsibility as public officials, as police officers, as firefighters, to not harm the public while we're trying to do our jobs, right?
And there no chase policy, or
you know, the no chase policy is something that the chief would really have to discuss in detail. But here's what I know about the no chase policy is that you know, it used to be that you could just be pursuing people all the time. Now there's certain limitations so that we can have less pursuits because so many people were getting hit during these pursuits. And it's much easier just to get the license plate, let that person go, ID them, let them go. If they're no longer being chased, 9 times out of 10, they are going to eventually slow down when they realize they're not being chased. And if we have their identity and we have their license plate, we can get that person later, and it's safer to the community, it's safer to all that kind of stuff.
If they touch me, it's consequences that come with that.
I call you next. Hey, Lee, they try to steal our shit.
I feel like a lot of people took away the negative from that.
That people out here lying is trademark, and I own the trademarks, and it's public record.
Like, ain't nobody got to lie about.
bro, pull up with 20 niggas with ski masks.
Like super hating, like
Ain't nobody trying to hear you, not no street nigga.
But
she ain't never paid for not one of my
I'm not finna die for this shit.
They died the first thing they say is,
For this shit.
man, he had potential
I ain't
to
never
grow up.
touched none of y'all. I ain't never did. I don't owe y'all niggas shit. I don't owe y'all niggas shit.
She said, I killed a boy, I'm going to prison.
You can out-internet me, but you can't out-business me and out-grind me.